What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel, and today we're going to get into our first story time video of the channel, and we're going to talk about the first time hopefully the last, but the time that I almost got arrested in Punta Cana. So I'm going to start from the top. This happened when I was in grade 12, which I was 17 years old. That was 2019, which feels like it was yesterday, which it was actually 7 years ago, which makes me feel terrible inside. Anyways, in grade 12, normally most people in my area would plan something which is called an S trip, which basically means that everybody in that class or grade would plan a final high school ending getaway vacation where you just get fucked up the entire time. It lasts about a week. Some people do 10 days. We never did that. We actually never did it at all, which I'll get into. Our grade, for whatever reason, didn't want to do it. We didn't get enough signatures, so we decided to make our own little S trip. Me and 5 other buddies were planning a vacation with 4 girls that we were friends with, and the girls had already booked their vacation. So when we were gonna plan our vacation, we had asked them, hey, what resort did you guys book at, so that we can book at the same exact one and we can have like a good 10-person getaway final goodbye to high school vacation. We ended up somehow in 17-year-old fashion booking the complete wrong resort. We booked like 2-hour walking distance down from the people we were supposed to meet up with, and we didn't find out until like 2.5 weeks after booking, and we couldn't cancel the booking because we didn't pay for that sort of insurance or whatever it's called. So we ended up having to go on this vacation without the girls that we planned to go on the vacation with. So we were going to be all by ourselves, which we didn't really care too much. But we had planned with the girls for one of the days that we would take a walk down to their resort and just say hello to them. Halfway through the trip, we're texting the girls and we're telling them about how we want to walk over one of these days, and we're planning if we wanted to go on the Thursday or the Friday. I think we leave the Saturday or the Sunday. I can't remember, but I know it was towards the end of the trip. On one of these days at around 11 a.m., we decided that we're going to walk over to their place. And it wasn't like any normal beach walk that you would take. Normally on vacation, you take a walk down the beach and you get to a certain point that seems a bit sketchy or it seems a bit off and you turn around, or you get too tired and want to turn back. So at around 12 p.m., maybe 1 p.m., we decided to start our journey to this other resort where the girls were staying. Around halfway through, we started to notice that the resorts and the beaches that we were passing were getting less and less nice. Their quality level dropped from like a 4.5 4-star to like a 1.5 2-star. There were people sketching the fuck out. There were people staring at us. It just got worse and worse as we went on. It was also an extremely hot day, so we were extremely fatigued and didn't have any water. But by the time we finally made it to the girls' resort 3 hours later, it was around 3:30, 4 o'clock. I remember because I checked my phone and thought, okay, when are we going to walk home now? Because we can't stay here. But they had actually rented out the penthouse of this resort, which had like 5 or 6 bedrooms. The girls actually brought one of their moms along to chauffeur for us. She was extremely nice. She welcomed us in. She told us to hide our wristbands as to not get caught, and we did. We followed along. We thought everything was going to be okay because, you know, parents there, we're going to be okay. Nothing's going to go wrong. Everything's going to be smooth. We ended up drinking a lot of alcohol that night, and we decided that we wanted to eat food at 1 in the morning. And let me tell you from experience, Punta food mixed with alcohol at 1 in the morning is probably the worst possible mix that you can do. We had one of our buddies that was throwing up from the alcohol, not from the food. Every single person who ate the food, we ended up getting some weird, like, Chef Boyardee looking spaghetti. We ended up chowing it all down. It didn't taste too bad. I can't lie. It didn't taste that bad. Immediately, probably 30 to 40 minutes after eating it, you can definitely feel the after effects of whatever was in that food, because we immediately started throwing up. We had 4 of us throw up that night, and then I started throwing up the next morning. And this is where I come to blame. I did not want to do that 3-hour walk. I was trying my hardest to get out of that 3-hour walk. It was terrible, it was sketchy, and I didn't want to deal with that. I was also 17 and didn't really understand the risks of being at another resort without having a wristband there. The mom actually ended up paying one of the taxi drivers extra money to hide our wristbands and get us out of there. I don't know why we thought that it would be more safe to go with the taxi driver, which would drive through Mexico as opposed to walking on the resort. We decided to take that risk. I was very, very, very willing to take that risk because I did not want to do that walk, like I said. 5 of us get into a van, and We are headed out of the resort, and we get stopped halfway through at the gate to exit. And the taxi driver, I've been to plenty of resorts. Let me just say this. I've been to plenty of resorts, and every time that we would go on vacation to one of these resorts, they would get the taxi driver's ticket saying that he was allowed to be in there. They would take the people in the taxi, and then they would leave. None of our information would be marked down. Nobody would check us to see if we had any wristbands. Nope, none of that stuff has ever happened anytime I've ever gone into a taxi before. What we believe happened was the mother that was chauffeuring us that day told the taxi driver, hey, they don't have wristbands. If we pay you extra, can you get them out of here? And with that information, my theory is the taxi driver said to the people out front, hey, these guys don't have wristbands. Let's try and get money out of them. That's my theory. I don't know how true it is. I think it's pretty normal to assume that based on the events that are following, which I'm going to explain. When we get to this gate to leave the resort, we already were stopped before anybody else. We watched the cars in front of us go through. The person stayed at the toll booth and lifted up the toll arm so that the people in the taxi in front of us can leave. With us, the person at the toll walked in front of the vehicle and stopped us immediately. Shined the light in the back and looked at all of us, which were all like 17-year-old kids staring at him like, yo, we don't know what to do right now. We're kind of scared. They asked us, where are your wristbands? It's the first question they asked. We said we don't have them, which in hindsight was pretty stupid. We should have said, oh, we just took them off because we're done with our vacation. That probably would have been the smartest thing to do. For whatever reason, we decided to show candor and tell them that we didn't have any wristbands. We tried to go the honesty route and tell them we took a 3 to 4 hour walk down the beach. We're too sick to walk back. So we decided to take a taxi. And then they're like, oh, well, you can't be here without a wristband. It's $75 a day if you're here without a wristband. And we're like, oh, okay. None of us have $75 American to pay for the day. How the fuck are we going to escape this situation? My one buddy luckily understands Spanish, so I think he kind of saved us from going into Punta Cana jail, but he was hearing them say, don't charge them $75, charge them $150, or we can take them to jail and they can take bond, is what he believes that he heard. Hearing that, he told us right away, do not pull out your passports, because they can't put you in jail without a passport, is what we understood. Immediately after he told us, don't pull out your passports, they said, where are your passports? So we told them, oh, we don't have them. We left them at our resort, which is 3 hours down the beach. They're like, you're not leaving here until we get $150. And we don't have that money. The chauffeur, the mother, who was nice enough, paid $150 American for all 5 of us on that trip, which is $750 American. For Canadians out there like myself, that's nearly $1,000, if not $1,000. And we never paid her back. We offered, she didn't want to take it. I think she felt guilty going through with that and telling us to go that route. Even though I'm the one who said I wanted to take a taxi, I think she did kind of feel that secondhand guilt of making us go in the taxi. My friends did want to walk. They did not want to take the taxi. I fully accept, like, I honestly would take like 99% of the blame on that one. That's fully my bad. It worked out fine, so we joke about it now, but yeah, if we didn't have the money and we pulled out our passports that day, there was a 90% chance that we would have been in Punta Cana jail for who knows how long. Luckily, my parents were at a resort not too far from where we were, so worst case scenario, they probably could have come and bailed us out, but that is besides the point. I'm sure they didn't want to abandon their vacation to come and bail out their dumbass 17-year-old and all their friends because they decided to walk to another resort. But yeah, it wasn't anything crazy that we almost got arrested for. We didn't try and do drugs or sneak drugs into a resort, or we didn't try and steal anything or do any like completely illegal things. All we wanted to do was see our friends, and we almost got arrested for it, which is hilarious. I tell this story pretty often to all my friends who talk about vacations and stuff like that. They always get a good laugh out of it and call me an idiot, which honestly is pretty warranted. But yeah, that was my story of how I almost got arrested. I hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully there's going to be more storytime videos soon. But yeah, with that being said, that's all for this video. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.